Hello, Bizarre Story friends. You've tuned into the Bizarre AF, a place where we talk about the strange, the unusual, the unknown, and all things Bizarre AF. I'm Kevin. I'm going to be your host for today's episode, and as always, we ask that you keep an open mind, keep a skeptical ear, but keep listening to the facts as we take you on our newest journey. Time travel. Fact or fiction? Well, hello, my Bizarre Story friends, and I would like to welcome my co-hostess with the mostest, Alicia.
Yes, hello.
Hi, pumpkin girl.
Hey, we are a couple days before Christmas, so I'm like wearing green, my socks that also say, can you read it?
No. What does it say?
I don't think
I can't read it.
It says, no shit, I'm dramatic. Thanks, Grandma. And
sweet.
I'm all green and red today for today's
Cute,
episode.
yeah, like your little hat.
Yes, it was in the last episode too, but like, honestly, I can only get like really a month of wear out of this one.
Yeah,
and
you wear the shit out of it.
It was from fucking Nordstrom. It
Good.
was not cheap. Thank you.
Well, we can hear Marvin playing with the bottle on the concrete floor, so when you hear that...
Those little like noises.
Hear that?
It's ASMR dog
It's ASMR
style.
dog, yeah. Marvin playing with his Alicia's water bottle. Okay, and I'm wearing my little time traveler. Wait, can you see it, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, this is my little time traveler shirt.
Yeah, you
It's
are.
from the
It looks
future.
so cute.
This is the shirt I wear in 1993 or 2093. Sorry.
I'm like 1993. Oh my gosh.
2093. Okay, so have you ever heard, Alicia, of something called the Philadelphia experiment?
You know what? It came up in my research for the last episode. The Philadelphia experiment.
Oh, I believe it, because you were
Yeah.
talking about remote viewing and some psychic stuff.
I was talking about some psychic stuff, and really it was like more about like the frauds that can potentially hide within black budget deals, and maybe they just highlight the frauds because there's more.
It's easy to prove.
Yeah, it's easy to disprove, and like also you don't want to let people know who your good psychics are.
Well,
who
right,
actually
we
can
have
say,
to disprove.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Tell me about it.
Well, have you ever heard of the Phoenix Project?
No, I've not.
Have you ever heard of the Montauk Project?
That one I have heard of. Isn't that like?
They're all connected.
Okay.
They're all connected.
Not gonna guess.
So here's a fun fact.
Yes.
Fun fact.
Ding,
The
ding.
working title for Stranger Things
Yes.
was going to be called Montauk. And it was because what the Montauk did in the 80s was these science experiments, kind of like how Stranger Things, if you watch Stranger Things, that they did this whole science experiment.
Yeah.
And it's a different experiment, but was the working title of Stranger Things was Montauk.
Montauk. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So a series of United States government projects conducted in Camp Hero, which is in the Montauk Air Force area.
Where is that?
Montauk, New York is
Oh, it's
on
New
the
York.
very tippity tip end of Long Island.
Of Long Island. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yep. And the purpose, they were trying to develop psychological warfare techniques and researching really crazy things like, I don't know, time travel.
Yes.
Time travel. So Philadelphia experiment started out, as most people believe, was a World War II naval project, and the intent was to demagnetize ships so that the German magnetic bombs couldn't just, be attracted to the ships and
Yes.
blow them up. So that
Yeah.
they were trying to figure out how to demagnetize these ships from the German bombs.
Right. A magnet is attracted. It's going to find wherever the ship is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes total sense.
And this process was very tedious because it required them to dry dock the ships. And a lot of times they had to, well, not a lot of times, they had to take out the electronic equipment from the ships in order to do this. Otherwise, they would ruin the ships, the electronic equipment. So it wasn't clearly practical. So they needed to figure out a way to do this kind of real time. But then they also were trying to figure out how to make ships invisible. While we're at it.
Yes. Can I please also become invisible?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I would love that.
Yeah.
If you were to be invisible, what would you?
Oh, I'd be naked all the time.
You would be naked?
Oh, I'd walk around naked.
Okay, why would you? Okay.
Because I could.
It was just like a bucket.
Yeah,
like, I could just do this?
Yeah. Because I couldn't be naked. I couldn't be invisible and wear clothes, right? Unless I had the right outfit from the proper people, like Mr. Spark, or no, not Spark.
Mr. Spark.
Wait, goddammit, hold on.
Tony Stark?
Tony Stark.
Okay,
would have to create my uniform to
Yes.
allow me to be invisible while wearing clothes.
Okay, do you like being naked?
No.
Okay. You would just do it so people could, like, because you don't want someone to see, like, your t-shirt and, like.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, well, let's say that, yeah, we figured out how to do that.
Uh-huh.
What would you do? Where would you go?
With it? Mm-hmm. God, there's so many possibilities. I don't know.
Would you be nosy as fuck? Would you, like,
no, I would do
things?
some nosy thing. No, I wouldn't steal. I would be nosy.
I think I would be nosy, and maybe I'd have, like I'd go into, oh my gosh, how cool would it be to, like, okay, one of my favorite places in the whole wide world is... We were talking last time. I'm like, I'm not like this hoity-toity. I'm like, this is gonna make me sound so bad.
Yes, you are.
I'm totally hoity-toity. So, in Paris, yeah, there is this place at the Ritz, Paris, the hotel.
Yeah.
There's the Hemingway bar, and it's like, it's infamous. I will probably do an episode on the Hemingway bar because there's so much interesting shit that happened there. I would love to just, like, go there and, like, steal sips from people's drinks.
Oh my God.
Just like see the types of people who go in there, because you walk in and, like, good God, like, honestly, this was freaking 4 or 5 years ago. Every single cocktail is like 35 euros each.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Like once you're there and, like, they're treated like, it's so, there's just, like, the history and, like, once again, hoity-toity. My dad would say I have champagne taste on a beer budget.
Yep.
Yeah, that's basically
I know
what
that.
it is.
I know that.
Okay,
feeling.
sorry. So go ahead. What they were trying to do is make these ships invisible. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, again, also some time traveling stuff.
Yes. God, that would be so cool, time traveling.
Right.
You could really change.
So, and before we go any further, just a quick thing.
Yes.
Quick thing. And our viewers you have to be watching this to appreciate it. And so I apologize in advance. So if you're listening, please just bear with me for a minute. So we got these things from TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok shop. We all hate to love TikTok shop.
Hate to love it. And they're little cotton candy bombs. And so when you pour liquid in with these little white cotton candy. Oh, wait, let me switch.
Okay.
There.
Yeah.
There. Okay.
We'll
Pour
do
this into
one.
here. Watch.
So it's like a little piece of cotton candy, and it transforms the color. Did you choose red?
I did the orange one.
Oh, it's orange.
But wait, watch. Look at it. See it sparkling? Look at it swivel.
Oh, yeah, there's like glitter at the bottom. Yeah, that is really nice.
They're glitter bombs.
So then I chose purple.
Wait.
Let's see it. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but, like, Oh, I think you can
Look
see
at
it
that.
more in the
Oh,
purple.
Yeah, you can see the purple better.
But the purple. Oh,
That's
maybe
blue.
maybe it's blue. Actually, maybe I accidentally chose blue. No, I chose purple.
I think they packaged it wrong.
Okay, so
look, that's the blue.
that is the blue. So Kevin was saying
I got the orange. Yeah.
beforehand that I think if you're gonna get the blue's better.
Is better. Look at that.
It's really nice.
Let's see if I can hold it up to the camera.
Yeah.
It's like swirling like these
So it's like
glitter.
Yeah, it's like this little like square of cotton candy, and you pour it, and it allows for like there's like glitter, I guess,
It's like
inside
a
of it.
cloud of blue glitter.
Yeah, and people will do. I wonder you could do. Remember our
Cheers.
absinthe? Cheers.
Yes.
Episode.
Yes.
It would be fun to do absinthe with it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anywho.
Oh my god! But friends, get the blue because the blue is like.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
I feel like the orange is more like pearlescent.
Yes.
Anyway,
Beautiful.
TikTok shop works. Who knew? Who knew?
Okay. So, as I was saying, the contrary to anything you can find or read about this stuff,
Yeah.
this experiment, according to a guy named Al, I think it's Bielek, Beilek. We're just going to call him Al from this point going forward, okay? His name's
old Al.
Al, okay? And he's actually a survivor of the Philadelphia experiment.
Oh, does he call himself a survivor?
Well, I call him a survivor
Okay.
because when you hear about what has happened, then you'll understand why.
Okay.
He says that everything that actually happened, it culminated in 2 tests for the Eldridge. The Eldridge is the USS Eldridge, and this was a ship that was docked in Philadelphia at the base. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now the original test, in 1943, was what he says was bad enough from just personnel problems, but it didn't what he calls lock up or connect with the Phoenix Project. Now you're going, what the fuck are you talking about, Kevin?
Exactly.
Like, I don't even understand these words you're saying. But this is all going to come together when I say lock up to the Phoenix Project. It's all going to kind of come together.
Okay.
Okay. The actual final test, which happened on August 12th of 1943, which is a very critical day.
August what?
August 12.
12.
That is where the ship actually went into hyperspace
What?
and came back a complete disaster.
Were people on this ship?
People were on the ship. He was one of them. He actually jumped. He jumped from the ship.
Okay.
And
I
this
have,
is
like,
a lot.
so many
This is a lot
questions.
really fast. But we're going to try to get through it.
So in August 12th, 1943, the ship jumped into hyperspace.
They got the ship into hyperspace on August 12th of 1943. Okay.
Okay. If somebody's jumping from it, that means it is not going well. You don't jump from something you want to be on.
Now he says the nature and the disaster was far greater than anyone realizes. This is what Al says.
Ooh, okay.
And the potential disaster, which was averted, would have been far, far worse.
Wow.
Now, a lot of the stuff he really doesn't go into. He doesn't clarify a lot, and I think a lot of it is, I don't know why he doesn't. I don't know if he's scared.
Is he still alive?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't think he. That's a good question. When his last I think he might be. He might be. We need to look it up. He might be. Okay. So here's let me first, before we dive into the details, I'm going to give you a quick summary. Mm-hmm. So on August 12th of 93, the Phoenix Project locks up with the Philadelphia Project. And we're going to talk about what those two projects were in just a second. Okay? Now, in the Philadelphia, the USS Eldridge was locked up in the Philadelphia Naval Yard, and it was equipped with this ship had this equipment on it that they've been developing to make this all work, which we're going to talk about in a second. Now, the Phoenix Project was taking place in the extreme end of Long Island, where we're talking about near Montauk. Okay, that's where the Phoenix Project took place, and it's like I said, way out on the tip of Long Island. There's this little town or this little state park, and just out inside of it is a town called Montauk, and there's a base called Fort Hero.
Okay,
and so that base had been there since 1916. And it was abandoned in 1986 for reasons that we're going to go into in a little bit. Now, there were 25 bases that had the facility and the ability to do what this facility could do.
What?
But they called this particular facility Prime Home.
This is all sounding like very Amazon, very creepy shit. It's like esoteric, like, I don't know, weird stuff.
We're going to go all the way. I'm going to take you all the way back to 1931 to help us build the story to what we're talking about today.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, the USS Eldridge was drawn into hyperspace and it was trapped there. And two men, this Al guy and a guy by the name of Duncan Cameron, they were working on the Philadelphia Project. They leaped from the deck of the Eldridge while it was in hyperspace.
What the fuck?
And they ended up, after a period of time, very disoriented. They ended up in Camp Hero in 1983.
What? They went from like 1940, like 20 years 40 years in the future.
Exactly 40 years.
So when I'm like sitting here like, oh, how old is Al right now? You're like, I don't fucking know. Is he still around?
Right, because he keeps jumping around in time.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, so here they claim to have met a guy by the name of John Van Neumann, who is a very famous physicist and mathematician, which you can Google. Although he died in 1957.
1957.
But they met him in 1983.
What? Okay, wait a second.
So there's one more thing before we get into this.
Okay. I want to ask any questions.
Time travel, time fucks with my head. There's my Achilles heel.
Yes.
Is time. Like when I have to program in time.
Right, that's
or
right.
Or if I have to do like anything in time. Like if I watch these stupid fucking Marvel movies where they do time travel, Loki, that shit, I can't. My mind explodes. Like I can't follow it.
You're just like, yep, nope, does not compute.
Nope,
at all.
I got to stop watching.
So what they say is like time, like a very common thing that people say who are in these circles, right? Is time is not linear. Time is like, it can all stack on each other. And we had talked about it in a past episode where we're like,
yep,
when you're hearing things or seeing ghosts, could it be that it's the same?
Yes.
Like you're both
when we were
in the
talking
same
about
space.
dimensions. Yes.
You're both in the same space and it's just like replaying.
Yes.
Or like you're seeing what had happened in the past. It's really like happening currently.
Yes. Or a future or a different time strand or
yes.
Oh Jesus, please.
No. Your brain's gonna explode.
Which is why I don't even know why I do these episodes.
I know you do all the time ones.
All the time.
It's because you're trying to grab a little bit more.
I think I am trying to grasp it. Okay. So this Alec guy and this guy named Preston Nichols, they do what's called a Montauk debrief.
Okay.
And they try to explain this stuff. And once I started digging into it, again, as I said before, my brain kind of explodes. Plus, it's just a complete rat's nest maze of shit that I don't understand. And they talk about it so nonchalantly. Like, you know, it's like when you hear fucking Big Bang guy.
You're talking the wrong.
Sheldon.
Yeah.
Sheldon from Big Bang. And he starts just talking about stuff or whatever, and like, oh, the neurophysicists of the right angle with the perplexing, parallel lines.
Gobbledygook.
Yeah, and they just talk about it like nonchalantly, like you should know, right?
Not to go back to what we were talking about, but Al did die in Fort Myers in 2007. Just an FYI. That's when his death was.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Okay, this is okay. My mind is going to start bending.
So Al has passed away. He's no longer alive.
He's no longer with us in this timeline.
R.I.P. Pour one out for Al.
In this timeline.
Yeah, in this timeline currently. But he did meet...
Yeah, he met John von Neumann.
In
In
1980s. Although he died in 1957.
Although he died in 1957.
Yeah. Okay, so what the fuck did Newman say?
Okay, so because Newman... Okay, we're going to learn about Newman.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to learn about Newman. So to do all this, we're going to go all the way back to 1931.
31, okay.
Okay. University of Chicago. Got a guy named Dr. John Hutchinson. A little old guy called Nikola Tesla.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And a guy named Dr. Emil Kurtenauer. Emil Kurtenauer.
Kurtenauer, sure.
Okay. So Roosevelt was elected in 33.
Yep.
He invites Tesla over to his little place called the White House. These guys have known each other since 1919.
Oh, gosh.
And so he asks Tesla, he goes, hey, what's up, bud? What's up, dude? And he says, well, I've got a lot of things in the fire. Let's see. I'm working on Project Invisibility. That's going pretty good. Got some work there to do there, but just looking promising. And I've been communicating with extraterrestrials.
Oh my God, I love Tesla. He's such a fucking kook. I love it. So 1933, he's like Roosevelt has him over for some tea, and they're like discussing.
Yep.
He's like, no, working on invisibility, and I've been talking to ETs, no problems, aliens, like they exist. Okay.
So, wait, I meant Eisenhower.
Eisenhower.
I meant
okay,
Eisenhower. Sorry, Eisenhower. So, and the president is like, he's into this stuff anyway, by the way. If we don't,
Eisenhower is?
He's like
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
totally into like psychics and like kooky, crazy shit.
Getting a little, J. Edgar Hoover was like the one who liked to dress up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was like really into metaphysics and all this stuff. And so like, he's like,
open.
Yeah. And so Tesla's kind of like, he's
with his people.
Yeah, he's with his peeps, right? Yeah. And so Tesla tells him about all of this stuff. And so Tesla was actually working with the company RCA.
Okay.
And he had been there also since like early 1920s, late 19-teens. And in 35, he becomes the vice president and director of engineering and research at RCA. Mm-hmm. Okay. Subsequently retires in 39, but beside the point. Okay. Now during the time that Tesla was the director of engineering and research in RCA, they had developed these like super sensitive receivers. Ooh. And receivers and transmitters, sure. I guess. And the intent was that they wanted to use these for overseas communication. And that's how they were going to get around the bend of the earth, was with these super sensitive transmitters and receivers.
Meanwhile, at this point in time, wasn't World War II already kicked off? It had already kind of started.
Yes.
Like Germany was like pushing their like Nazi propaganda.
It was
at this point in time.
Well, so we're going to get to that, but it had not. He's trying to
historically.
Yes, historically. Well, at this point, it's not there yet. But I mean, sorry. Let me get back up. It's engaged.
Yeah, it's
Things
happening.
Are engaged,
but the U.S. is not
but
involved.
it's not. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So like this stuff is happening in Europe. There's a good reason to have these sensitive transmitters and receivers.
Yes.
So putting like money into it, good reason for it.
Exactly.
Because we have this like burgeoning empire.
Yes.
The Nazis.
Yes.
Potential world power who wants to take over the whole world.
Precisely. That's right.
Give us money. Yeah.
So, okay. So he says, Tesla says he uses this equipment and tells the president that he has been communicating with, quote, solar groups. Solar groups.
Which means sun. So I'm assuming that means that they're coming, like they're from the sun.
Right.
Like, makes no sense to me, but
yeah.
Tesla was also involved, like in love with a bird.
Yeah. So the president says, oh, okay, well then can I talk to them?
Yeah.
And Tesla goes, oh yeah, definitely. I can arrange that. Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
And he says, well then can I meet them? And he goes, yeah, I think that's possible. I think we can do that.
What? So Tesla had like met them?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tesla says there's these two groups that you would be probably going to be interested in talking with. If you want to make any sort of deal, because like you said, war's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot.
He needs some help, right?
We see it coming up like on the horizon. Yeah.
Yep. U.S. was just getting out of that bad depression.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of shit happening, right?
Yeah. And then World War I had happened, like in the teens, the 19-teens.
So they make arrangements to meet these two groups. The first group is called the Palladians.
Oh my God.
The second group are called the Kondrashkin with a K.
Kondrashkin. Sounds very like
Kondrashkin.
Very Star Trek.
It does. Well, maybe this is where Roddenberry gets his information. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Love it.
So the president meets with the Palladians to get an idea of what they can do to help.
Yeah.
Help a brother out. And he says, okay, but I just need to see what this other group can do first. So I'm not gonna make any kind of deal, but let me just see what these guys can do.
Let me see what my options are.
See what my options are.
It's like very smart. You want to see. You don't want to make a deal with the first person that you meet. You just like if you're looking for a sweater, look at multiple places.
Exactly.
What's the best deal? What's the best feel?
Right.
Yeah.
So he meets the second group, and he decides, yep, I'm gonna go with the second group.
No, I have a bad feeling about this. I already have a bad feeling about this. Because the Kondrashkin sounds like Kardashian.
Yeah.
And that sounds like Kardashian.
We know how evil they are.
Yeah, the Kardashians just want money, dude. They just want money.
So, as a result, the Palladians go, okay, well, we're going to go on over to Nazi Germany and make a deal with Hitler.
What? I thought Palladians were supposed to be peaceful.
They work with Hitler.
And
help him with his technology needs.
Turncoats, dude. Turncoats.
So this is why they believe Dickface Hitler.
Yeah, Dickface for sure.
Was able to do all those sciencey, experimenty technology
Nazi
things
bell
because
stuff,
he got the help with the Palladians.
Interesting.
Okay. So the second group, the Kondrashkins, so they can offer some new industries and some other things. And so in 1938, an offer is made, and they set up this brand new industry called atomic energy. And so this is all very intriguing to Roosevelt. And he says, so he goes and he talks to his advisors. Military, of course, and the military is like, whoa, calm your tits, girl.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just let these ETs or aliens as far as they're concerned Just set up some like industry like this and let them run with it.
Meanwhile, can we just talk about how Tesla's like a little cray-cray? Mm-hmm. He has a straight up relationship with a pigeon. He thinks that he's in love with a fucking pigeon. Like, you're sitting here saying you're talking to these solar groups. Eisenhower's like, yeah, I believe in all this woo stuff, which like, come on, you're talking to like friends here, right? Exactly. But like also you're asking for how much money, and like there's a war burgeoning, and you're talking about this thing called atomic like power and stuff, and like that will destroy everything.
Right. And you're just gonna let these aliens just run with it?
Yeah, and like I'm assuming all this is being vouched for with like our like top scientists. I know, like historically, they're like, yeah, this technology is actually like, something can happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're telling him, no, dude, you can't do this, especially in our home turf, and let them doing this here, and in essence, you're letting them control it. They're the only ones that understand it. So calm your tits.
Calm your tits.
No, absolutely not. And so, so finally he goes, okay, you're right. That's probably nuts. And so he tells the K people, never mind. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
The Kondrashkins.
Kondrashkins, yes. So now it's 1940, and we don't hear from the K peeps. We haven't heard from the K peeps, and so he's getting concerned.
Eisenhower.
Or Roosevelt. The president. Yeah, the Roosevelt.
Oh, no.
Whoever
it's Eisenhower.
It's Eisenhower. I keep getting him mixed up. Yeah, whoever the president is. Yeah. The Prez. We'll just call it the Prez.
Is it Eisenhower or is it Roosevelt? Sorry.
Why am I getting
It doesn't matter.
No.
We're just calling him Eisenhower because that's what you said first. Or that's what you said.
I think it is Eisenhower. I know people listening are going to be
They're going to be so irritated. They're going to be like, no, don't you know Roosevelt? Actually, I think Roosevelt was like...
Wait, I know how we can do this. Do you have your phone? Wait, I have my phone. Watch this.
Yeah.
Do this. Watch. Hey, Siri. Who was the president in 1940?
President Franklin D. Roosevelt.
There we go.
Okay, so
Roosevelt. That's
Roosevelt it is,
I don't know why I said Eisenhower. Okay.
Well, let me tell you why you said that.
Okay.
Because Roosevelt was the head of like the military, or excuse me, Eisenhower was the head of military.
Yeah.
So Roosevelt was the president. Eisenhower was like the main dude for the military. Mm-hmm. He was like a 4-star general or whatever.
Okay, here we go. That's it. That's why.
So it is synonymous. Like they're both interchangeable.
Okay. So they're getting worried. Roosevelt's getting worried.
Yes.
No one can find them. Can't seem to talk to them anymore. K people are gone.
Meanwhile, we know that the Nazis have the Palladians.
The Palladians are working with the Nazis.
The solar group, right?
Exactly. So someone comes up with this really bright idea, and they go, hey, Prez, why don't we go find some really good psychics? And
Cue the tie-in.
And let's see if they can tell us what's going on. Right? Well, as we know, the Prez was like all into metaphysical, like psychic shit. Right. So he was like, hell,
he was open to
bitch.
all that. Yeah.
He was like, let's do it. So there's this guy named Bennett who was the president's kind of like right-hand man. Every president has a right-hand man, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so he was tasked with going out and finding some of these really good psychics. So he lets him go do that. And so he has to create this organization. Well, secret, of course. We can't let the American people know what's going on. No. So he creates this little secret organization. Okay. They later label this organization as the Psi Corps, PSI Corps, CORPS.
Ooh, I like this.
Okay. I think it's a cool name, Psi Corps.
It is a really cool name. I'm flipping around.
Yeah. So this was the backbone, the main organization, right? That was ultimately in charge of all kinds of level of spying and operations and intelligence. And this organization was going until mid 50s, 60s.
Oh, wow.
Now, again, I hate Was it really dismantled?
That's what we were talking.
mean-
Yeah, that's what we were talking about in our last episode. Was when we were talking about Uri Geller and
they say that they
these
dismantle
Stargate
things.
Project. Yeah, it's
exactly.
like we hear about the failures. Are we going to ever hear about the successes?
Why would we?
No, and you have these individuals who come out and are like, yeah, I'm retired from the military. I don't have to talk. Like my statute is like over.
Mm-hmm.
And I can talk about the fact that I did, like, this was successful. Like, I found these people, or like this project, or whatever the case may be. Like, I found a freaking, one of them was so extreme that like she found an atomic bomb.
Right.
That was like in a plane crash.
Yes.
And like, honestly, the fact that the one thing I will say is like, that is like a pointer to the fact that we don't know everything, I think, is we have the ability for nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They have only been used, as like a threat and as a thing to end stuff once.
Hiroshima.
In Hiroshima. I know people are fucking crazy. And there is no possible way that this is that this is just one case. Like, if we are correct and like there are either psychics or aliens or whatever stopping like more nuclear war, like I am surprised with how we had fucking Donald Trump. Oh my God.
Ugh.
We had Donald Trump as a goddamn like, like the fact that we didn't break out into nuclear war then, that's saying to me that potentially there are other powers that be that we don't know about, potentially pulling the strings.
Oh yeah, without question. Yeah, it can't. It's not just the one.
Only one bomb's gone off at the whole world. Like, how many countries have had it?
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
Anyways, what I'm saying is like check in the box of psychics and all that shit.
Yep. Okay, so,
So we're at the Psycorps.
So now we're back in 1940.
Right.
So this Psycorps is in infancy.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And so they hired these bunch of psychics who they obviously had to be good, proven they were good, very knowledgeable, legitimate, knew what they were doing. Obviously, they could prove it. They were all given these new identities, these psychics, and they were put into this secret warehouse in Virginia. And they go about their little psychic activities. Now, what isn't really clear is, were they able to ever find the K people? Like that was never really, I never really could find anybody talking about that.
Did they try to go back with the Palladians or have a conversation with the Palladians?
No, the Palladians are like a lost cause at this point.
They've already chosen sides, kind of thing.
Exactly. Okay, so now it's 1941. They really don't have any official person heading this. They got to find someone to head this organization and all these programs. And one of the programs, by the way, in this required that they go out and find twins. And twins was very important. And they were mostly males, of course, because only males could do things back in those days, apparently. Right? We all know.
Which we know.
Yes. Males were the only people who had any sense in their brain, could do absolutely anything worthwhile.
Literally, like, we were just having a conversation about how dumb men are, like, right before this. God bless you. like we know that's not the truth, right? But like, women were like Rosie the Riveter, like building things or whatever, and men had all the power and the education and stuff like that.
Women knew how to cook and clean.
Yeah, which is like so easy. It's like so easy compared to like working at a job.
Oh, you don't know how to do all this hard stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You have no idea. Like, she's like, I literally run the whole home that you live in, like by myself.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Okay, so they did have a few female twins. They acknowledged they did have a few.
Okay, but it was mainly males.
Mostly males.
that they were finding. Okay, and twins at that point in
And then
time
like
were
50
not
pair.
50 pairs of
50
twins.
pairs of twins.
And like one thing I will say is like now twins are more common because a lot of people use IVF and stuff like that. So like when I was growing up, it was not very common to have twins. It was like we had like
because that was a natural. I don't want to say oddity, but it was a natural
like kind of a
occurrence.
fluke.
Yeah, fluke.
Yeah, or like ran in someone's family. It was like a genetic thing that's very, very rare.
Yes, so it's rare. Exactly.
So back then to find 50 like twins would be really, really hard.
Yes.
Today, not
so
much.
hard.
Yeah.
And they used them as some sort of telepathy because they thought that the twins were connected.
Yeah, of course.
And so the idea was they would put them in this equipment, and it was kind of like a pyramid. Well, not kind of like, it was a pyramid. So imagine being in a room, or not a room. Imagine being in a room. And then you're sitting directly under a pyramid that is built out of, a copper tube. And it was 10 feet by 10 feet. And so you had a triangle, a pyramid, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so imagine 10 feet cube, and then it goes up to a pyramid, right? The cube. And you're sitting in a chair directly under this pyramid. Okay. And they had some kind of electrical power going through this copper tubing. And the idea was that one twin would sit in this pyramid, and the other one would go about their business, infiltrating the Kremlin.
So was the idea that the pyramid like made it like a satellite or receiver or
amplified the twins' psychic signals and would allow them to transmit and remote view, or not necessarily remote view.
Did it have to be like copper or metal, like which this
I think it had to be some sort of a metal.
And was it instructed upon or from the aliens?
Yes.
Okay.
These designs were coming
from the aliens. Like, you need this like copper.
Yes, this is
someone
how
needs
you're
to
going to
sit
build
in
it.
here.
Yep.
And like they have, because you hear about like twin like languages and stuff like that. Like it's a twin. Oh, like twins come up with like a language. They can talk to each other. They can kind of feel things before it even happens.
That's why they wanted twins.
So they wanted
better
twins.
Connection.
Exact. So it's a better telephone.
Yes, better telephone.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
So eventually the CIA is formed.
Right.
And they take over this organization in 1947.
That's
so
what
now
they do.
they own the Psych Corps. They're in charge of Psych Corps.
AKA, we will not find out anything about it afterwards.
Right,
Just like whatever they want. Yeah.
And then in about 1950, the NSA comes into being.
Ah.
And then they transferred the Psych Corps to the NSA. And Psych Corps has been in control of the NSA ever since.
So it's still in existence.
Well, that's up for debate.
Right.
Up for debate.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's this man that ran it. His name is Emil Padai Costain.
Costain.
Khustain.
Costain.
Costain, yeah. He was born in the 1900s, and he was very much undercover in the government. Like, no one heard of it. Like, he's very powerful, but no one heard of him. Kind of a guy.
That's exactly how you have power, is like nobody knows about you. He's like a man in black.
And it was later discovered he was actually a walk-in into the FBI. That's how he got in. That's how he got into the government. He was a walk-in.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
People talk about like all of these like, oh, you have this schooling and you have this thing and whatever. Mm-hmm. Those are the people who have been like schooled and like how they're going to react. Mm-hmm. You get these people who are from wherever or are independent thinkers, like they can kind of, they're the ones who like can control things and can think outside the box. So you do want someone like Costain to come inside of it.
Exactly. Yep.
I mean, if you want to be successful, this kind of scares me.
It's going to creep you out in a minute.
Great.
Guess who Costain really, he's a walk-in. Remember, he's a walk-in.
Yes, he's a walk-in. Where is he from? I think he's a fucking, like, he's one of the aliens, one of the solar groups.
He is.
Shut
But he's one of the K people.
He's one of the K people. So what? He's like checking in on them. Costain. Come on, Costain. You couldn't have been any more like obvious about it. Like Costain, not Kardashian, but whatever. What is it?
Kardashians. We'll call them the Kardashians.
Yeah, they're the Kardashians. Like, come on, at least be called like Jamal.
Exactly.
You know, like
Brad.
that's a little bit different. Brad, John, not a K. Come on.
Okay, so
he comes in.
So
he's
he
part of
comes in
that.
as a walk-in. Yep.
How does he like?
And
like, tell
so
them?
think about if you wanted to kind of spy on this organization that you were wanting them to help you or do things for, I mean, this is a perfect cover. Like it's and get them to do things that you needed them to do. It was perfect. Perfect.
That is very true. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
it's a brand new like thing offshoot. Too.
And so now why it's so important in terms of these two experiments, the Philadelphia and the Phoenix Project, it's very important that he's in place. We'll get there, but
they made a deal.
But he needed to be here to get this stuff to work.
In 1950.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is going to blow your mind when you, again, this whole time traveling shit, because 1947, this happened in 47.
That he comes in 47?
No, he comes in,
in 1950.
This is what, exactly. But in 47 is when the actual experiment happened.
Gotcha. Okay. So
tracking
Costain, who's part of the K group,
yes,
that we did, like the United States did business.
Agreed with yes.
He walks into this like what is it? NSA. He walks into the NSA. Is like, I want a job.
FBI. Actually,
FBI.
Yes.
Okay. So
that was his entry point into CIA and NSA. Yeah.
Okay. So he goes first to the FBI in 1950. Then he goes to the NSA.
Yes.
And then he's a pivotal player in something that happened in 1947. Dun, dun, dun.
Mic drop.
Yeah. All I can say is time's not linear and there's more to this world than we even know. So Costain came in, but he's going to be proven pivotal in the Philadelphia experiment.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I just know it, Kevin. You always do this to me. I never choose the scary ones.
So these two projects, the Philadelphia experiment and the Phoenix Project, would, as they call it, lock up or join. Mm-hmm. And it happens on a very critical date. That date, August 12th.
Yes.
In 1943 and 1983. 83 was when the Phoenix Project connected, and that's when the Phoenix Project, or that base, was sabotaged.
It's same thing, August 12th?
August 12th.
Okay.
That was exactly 40 years apart.
Yeah.
What was supposed to happen in 63? We were supposed to have an event in 63. 43, 63, 83 on August 12th. It didn't happen in 63, which we will talk about why in just a moment. But August 12th is a very critical date.
Yep.
Now, do you remember me mentioning a guy named Dr. John Van Neumann?
Yeah, Dr. John. I have him, yeah.
He was the second and final director of the Philadelphia experiment in 1947.
Okay.
He was also the first director in the Phoenix Project when it came online after the war, World War II. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they start building the Phoenix Project.
He was chosen for both of those. Interesting. What's up with Dr. John Newman? He's an alien.
The important phase of the Phoenix Project was from 1975 through 83. Because remember, They really started building it around 75. It was on. We'll get into it in just a second. I'm jumping ahead because I'm excited to talk about it. But 83 is when we talked about the critical. That was the August 12th of 83.
Yes,
that was the end of the Phoenix Project, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay. That's when they developed the Phoenix Project. When they actually developed the capability of time travel. And of what they called a guy named Carl Sagan. Have you heard that name?
Oh, yes, Carl Sagan. Yeah.
He calls them time tunnels. Time tunnels. Or wormholes. Which we've heard of wormholes.
Yes, wormholes, yeah.
These were all fully functioning. Time tunnels, and then that's kind of how that's my dog Marvin, because we're talking about time tunnels, I think.
Yeah, he wants to play.
No, Marvin, you can't do it right now. Okay, so someone had to know, in order to get these two experiments to lock up in 83. Marvin. And in 43, someone had to know something.
Right.
Someone had to be able to. Someone knew something.
Yeah. I think
These are critical dates.
Yeah. And the only person who's involved in both projects is Dr. John Newman.
Dum dum dum.
He is like.
And Mr. K-Man.
Yes.
The K-Man walk-in.
Yes. Right?
Uh-huh. Okay.
The alien.
Right, exactly. So clearly, the Kardashians, or the K people, or no, not the Kardashian. Sorry, I'm going to get in trouble, but not the Kardashians. Kondrashkin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Kondrashkin.
Now they clearly knew what was going on both ends.
Yeah.
They're extraterrestrials.
They're playing both sides.
They know shit. Exactly. They need stuff. Mm-hmm. They're going to make shit happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, according to our friend Al, who jumped from the ship. Yep. The real purpose of the two projects, aside from their initial purpose of demagnetizing, Marvin, stuff. The stuff that they wanted it to do was to get these two projects to lock up.
Yeah.
And it had to be locked up long enough, and it had to be connected long enough to get an entire spaceship from one time frame and dimension into ours. That was the point. They needed to get a spaceship.
What?
I saw your eyes go.
My
They had to
dilated.
get a very large spaceship from another time frame and dimension. They had to get it through. That was the point of creating these projects in 2 different decades, and many different decades.
Okay.
Okay, it's still crazy, but we're gonna fill in some more gaps.
Okay, I'm not gonna ask questions.
Okay. We're gonna still fill in my okay. Now they say
So like the Phoenix Project and sorry. I cannot. So like the Phoenix Project and the Philadelphia Project are really the same project, right?
No, they're 2 different projects in 2 different decades.
I get that. But what I'm saying is like they're really the same project.
They're working toward the same goal.
Exactly.
Yes.
So like sister projects.
Yeah.
And nobody's saying that.
No, because you don't know. You don't know that. As a person working on the Philadelphia Project.
Yeah, like this is going to happen.
You don't know that the Phoenix Project in 83, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now they say,
I'm tripping out.
as of about 1947, the K people were like a lost cause, right? Because
they've
lost all
around.
communication, all interaction.
This is now after the World War II.
Yep.
Yeah. We haven't heard from them. We won the war. What the fuck ever.
So here comes 1954.
Mm-hmm.
There was another group that became of interest into the government.
God.
Any guess who they are?
Like, is an extraterrestrial?
Uh-huh.
The whites.
The Greys.
The Greys. The Greys. Oh, okay, friends. Talk about my worst nightmare is the Greys. The Greys. Like, I'm like very disappointed in the Palladians. Like, what I've heard about them, like historically, they've been decent. The Greys, like, yeah. No.
Bad news.
This is what my nightmares are fueled with, is the Greys.
The U.S. government, they'll play with anybody shady.
So that's part of the thing is, like, when you're talking about like governmental, like, you know, folks, oftentimes what they're trying to say is like, okay, you're a government, you're trying to win a war, you're trying to get like a level up on other governments. How do you do that? Weapons.
Yep.
Do not fuck with us because we have these weapons or whatever.
Yep.
So if you're talking to like an alien race and they are, you know, they have like more of a technological capability, you're going to ask for that technology.
Yep.
And what is the price that you're going to have to pay when it comes to technologies, especially from the Greys? And this is just like my tin hat conspiracy because I don't trust the motherfucking Greys. I cannot stand them. They scare the shit out of me, like, honestly. And this is just me going down like Reddit rabbit holes and shit.
Yeah.
But when you're doing stuff like that, like, you see that the Greys always have an ulterior motive.
But don't the U.S.
No, what I'm saying is like, yes, it is like.
It's like shady playing with shady.
Totally.
Yeah.
We are just the fucking idiots that live under like the auspices or under the rule of the shady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
the Greys come in.
Yes. And actually, I misspoken. That wasn't 1954. We're still in 47.
Oh, okay,
sorry.
okay.
I jumped ahead. Okay. And so, do you recall that same year, a little bitty crash in a little bitty town called Roswell?
Yeah. Yep, I definitely. Yeah, Roswell, New Mexico.
And do you remember who came out of Roswell?
Alien? Our good friend J9.
A little guy named called J-Rod.
J-Rod. Our friends of J-Rod. Yeah, we're friends of J-Rod. J-Rod came out of... Oh my God.
Yep.
Because we had an entire episode about J-Rod and Element 115.
That's right. So the U.S. calls, they get on the phone, they're like trying to call the Kardashians.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, bitches, we got this guy. He's sick. We don't know what to do with him.
J-Rod, yeah.
What do we do? Like, help.
Yeah.
Like, we got this.
He's still alive.
He's still alive.
Because that plane crash had happened and he had like two other like people, like aliens.
They got separated. Yeah.
They got separated, but like he was the only survivor. The other two died pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think they remember they split him up or something.
Yes, they split him up.
Yes.
And like the other two died either just right after or like
shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the only survivor.
Well, these fucking people didn't respond to the U.S. for years.
The Kardashians didn't?
The Kardashians didn't respond for years.
Those bitches.
Years.
Fucking Chris. I thought you always answered your phone.
Exactly.
What the fuck? Like, but really, like, how funny would it be if we had the Kardashians? Okay, Kardashians. I am a Star Trek fan, so it's actually Kardashians, but there's also anyways.
And we're the Kondashkins.
These are the Kondashkins, but like, wouldn't it be funny to talk to the Kardashians or the Kardashians about the Kardashians
Uh-huh.
and like alien shit. I wonder what they think about it. They're like, no, we are aliens. I'd be like, cheers to that. I fucking knew it.
Totes.
Anyway, sorry.
Yep. So they're calling out to, because they can communicate, right? And they're like,
To the
hey, we got
Kardashians,
this
yeah.
dude. Well, we have
J-Rod.
a few dudes, but we got this dude. He's sick. We finally get an answer several years later.
Oh gosh.
It's this group of small ships that show up around 1953. And there's grays on them.
Oh, okay.
And this part is a bit jumbled. Like I was getting really lost and having a hard time tracking this part of the story and really fully understanding, but it was almost like they insinuated there was some sort of like hostage exchange of some sort, or like, hey, we're going to give you some humans and you're going to give us RETs kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, because the Greys always want to do like medical experiments and stuff on humans.
Exactly. Exactly.
From just like going down the Reddit rabbit holes. Once again, we need some freaking tinfoil hats, because then I could put it on and say, okay, this is where this information's coming from.
Exactly.
But historically, Greys always want like something genetically from humans.
That's right.
And so it's always a trade-off. Like it's never like, hey, sure, Eisenhower, sure, Roosevelt, like we can do whatever you want, but like you then owe us American people, like these specific people that we need genetic information from.
That is why people ask the question, why did they need us? Why did the aliens need us? And there was two reasons.
Yeah.
One was because we had the ability to create these mechanisms or these mechanical mechanisms that they needed in some form or fashion. And two was because we were warm bodies.
Yeah. It's like a organ donation kind of thing.
Yes.
Like they need
Exactly.
Say Marvin.
Well, if you guys are watching, Marvin is trying to get Alicia to play.
Yeah, he wants to. I want to hold him but he keeps on running away from me. Let me see if I can get him. Ooh.
Oh yeah, there he is. Just hold his legs.
Hold his legs.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Now he's gonna be chill. Maybe if I can I squeeze him?
Yeah, there you go. He just needs his feet supported. Oh, he's hugging you. Okay.
But they always want something. Nothing's ever for free.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Okay. So they keep J-Rod.
Okay.
Obviously, we've learned about that before. But they give some Earthlings back, apparently, from what I could gather. And then the Greys promised to return in 54. Now, I couldn't tell if that was a promise or a threat.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. We're going to return in 54, or hey, we'll return in 54. Like I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
the
if it was like a
context of
good
that.
thing or yeah, totally.
But they did. But they returned in very large numbers. And this was in Edwards Air Force Base.
Where's Edwards Air Force Base?
And Holman's Air Force Base. Edwards? God, that's a good question. I can't remember where that one is either. Hey Siri, where's Edwards Air Force Base?
I should just have my.
Hey Siri. Where's Edwards Air Force Base?
Okay, here's what I found.
The bitch doesn't even tell you.
Oh, she doesn't. Look at her.
Anyway, so they're at two different
Southern
Air
California.
Force. Oh, okay.
And so they come in droves.
So the last time that we saw the Greys, they were coming in. It was a very small pocket of them, right? That were here who answered our call.
Answered the call.
To what the fuck do we do with J-Rod?
Yes. And apparently it was some kind of shady thing, again, because
they
there was
wanted
some
a
sort
deal.
of negotiation deal.
Yeah. With like.
But now they come back with hundreds of thousands
of spaceships.
ETs. Aliens. ETs.
Yeah, that's not good.
Okay.
No warning, I'm sure.
No warning. And it was about this time that the Prez disappears in one of his golfing weekends at Air Force Base, apparently, but that he has. And he meets with these extraterrestrials and he signs an agreement of non-interference, which was an agreement to not interfere with each other's civilizations, but they would exchange technology. Okay? Now, according to the Gov, the non-interference didn't last long because they said that the Greys weren't keeping their agreement. I don't know if I believe that at all because we know the government's a bunch of twats. So they could have very easily been the a-holes here. But the government says that the technology that they wanted wasn't provided, or that the level of technology that they got wasn't what they expected.
Well, let's just say that if it was like a totally agreeable situation, we would not know anything about this.
True.
Right?
Oh, of course, exactly. Why would
It would not be
wouldn't be
declassified.
Yeah.
Like we would have no idea about it if that were the case.
That's exactly
so. Someone broke their promises, and
knowing
historically Greys, yes, they definitely did.
And the way I'm reading it is that they created these underground bases for them. There were almost 75 of them. They had this whole underground.
Like here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where exactly, but in the United States. Yes, exactly.
Where's my tinfoil?
Talking about underground railroad systems and ways for them to transport. I mean, because like I said, there were hundreds and thousands. DIA. Fucking DIA. Okay.
We're miles away from it now.
Exactly. So the way that I read it was like the idea was that this they kept bringing in people and AETs over and over and over and over and over and over. And the ship would hover over the planet, and then they'd have these little shuttles that would go back and forth to get the people.
Yeah.
How did the ships get here? That would be the riff in space that we created with the Philadelphia and the Phoenix Project.
Okay. Intentionally?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the whole goal
of the K people or the Greys or the Orions, that we're actually going to talk about the Orions in a second.
Oh my God.
That was the end game.
Was to get that to happen.
Was to get this rift, this hole to happen.
To make it easier to transport to the US.
Yes.
Or excuse me, to Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And time travel had to happen in order to make this all happen because we had to connect a 1947 project to a 1983 project. So they had to do this time traveling thing.
Yeah. This is
which we're going to get to in a second.
Insane.
Oh my God. I got
insane.
it. Okay, I've got
all these aliens, like honestly, like what is their end goal? Their end game?
This is the $1 million question.
Yeah, exactly. I don't trust a motherfucker. That's all I can say.
Okay, so I'm going to try to get through this. So apparently the Earth has these things called have you ever heard of biorhythms?
Yes.
Humans have biorhythms, apparently. Well, apparently the Earth has biorhythms, 4 of them.
Okay.
And I would probably equate that to like summer, earth, winter, spring.
Sure.
That's how I would equate to it. Okay.
Very different vibes for each season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And apparently even the Lamas in Tibet, they actually think the Earth is a living entity, not some rock, the scientists call it, right? And it's got these biorhythms.
I agree.
Some level of consciousness. And these rhythms, these 4 rhythms, they peak out every 20 years on August 12th.
Oh my God, we need to do something on August 12th. What the fuck is it with August 12th?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a day.
It's just the day.
It's a day.
Yeah. They peak
now, they say it's kind of plus or minus, but that's because the Gregorian calendar is completely inaccurate, which is why we add a day every 4 fucking years. Stupid fucking calendar, right? Okay. So, now, in 43, with that test, we had no knowledge of August 12th. We didn't understand what August 12th was. We didn't know why August 12th is so important. But these orders come down from the White House that you will perform the test on August 12th. You will. There is no exception to the rule. It will happen on August 12th. You will do it on August 12th. Make it happen. Well, clearly the Kardashians were working with the White House. Like we had there was some kind of thing happening right here, right? Someone knew something. So who's in the White House, right? We had that Bennett guy who started this whole thing, right? We had the president, we had the K people. So now the Phoenix Project was run by a guy named Preston Nicholas.
Okay.
And the Phoenix Project hardware didn't become functional until 1975. And in 77, it becomes operational. And by 79, they had all the bugs worked out. So it was fully operational by 1980. Okay. It was running up until August 12th of 1983, which it crashed due to sabotage, which is a whole nother episode.
Oh my God.
It's a whole nother episode.
Okay.
Okay. But on August 1st of 1983, something very strange happens.
Okay.
On August 1st of 1983, prior to that time, they would only run this machinery or this equipment for a few hours a day. And it was to build up energy.
Yeah.
Right? This equipment built up energy, which we're going to talk about in a second. On August 1st, they were told that they had to turn this on and leave it on forever. So from August 1st until August 12th of 83, when I said when it was sabotaged, it was running 24 hours a day.
Wow.
Okay. The Philadelphia experiment, like I told you, took place in a Philadelphia shipyard.
Yeah.
It was near this town called Red Bank. And this is where that Eldridge ship was when they ran the experiment. And the experiment was in the middle of the ship. Sorry. And they put this antenna on this ship, and they put part of this equipment that was also in the Phoenix Project on this ship so that those two things could
work
marry.
too. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And this was all had to do with the receivers and the transmitters that Tesla was building from RCA. Remember when I was talking about those sensitive receivers?
Yes. Super sensitive
this all
transmitters.
comes into play here. Okay. Now, the Phoenix Project, as I said, took place at the very tip of Long Island. That's where that park was, in Montauk. Okay. All right. So we got the Philadelphia experiment in Philadelphia. We got Montauk, where the prime home is. Okay.
Right. So creepy.
So, real quickly, we know that the dimensions of time and space, right? We have the first, second, third dimension. Then there's the fourth dimension. Then there's the fifth dimension, what they say is about time.
Right.
Okay. We know the second and third dimension. The fourth dimension is time, and the fifth dimension, is what they call this thing called T2. And it's when they draw it out, it's represented around this coil. So imagine this donut. Imagine a donut, okay? And the T2 is the swirl that goes around the donut. All right? So that represents forward and backwards time.
Okay.
Okay? And so the idea was they were going to create this field around the Eldridge, and that was how they were going to make it invisible, by creating this field around the Eldridge. And if you could get that fifth dimension of time around the Eldridge, then it becomes invisible. You can't see it because you can adjust how time works.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so that's how Eldridge got sent into the hyperspace.
Right.
People were on it. When it came back, people were like embedded in the floor and in the walls.
I could see that, yeah.
And
because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Didn't know what was happening, exactly.
So they're doing all this like experimental like equations, etc.
Exactly.
And they're not really accounting for humanity or for humans who are
irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Are irrelevant. Yeah, exactly.
So the generators on the Eldridge were creating what they called a sixth order or the sixth dimension, so that they could manipulate the fifth order or what we call the T2. Okay. And so that's how they're manipulating the speed of this helix that's going around this donut.
The donut, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I actually watched a video where they were trying to draw this out.
Yeah.
So you could kind of physically see it. And they were talking about, if something is 50 degrees, you can see it. If it's 60 degrees, you can't. I mean, like way beyond.
It's like the idea is like if we were drawing something versus like making it like in 2D versus making it like in 3D.
3D. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. All right. So to get the project to working in terms of shoving the Eldridge into hyperspace, they were creating this bubble or this rift. They had to do what they called this 12th order function. And I know people's eyes are glazing at this point, but the Eldridge, the ship in the Philadelphia experiment, was able to go up to what they called the sixth order, or the sixth dimension. Okay.
Okay.
Remember when I was talking about those generators in Long Island?
Yes.
What they called the parent home or that thing right there?
Prime home.
Prime home. Thank you. When these two things worked together, they were actually able to create up to like the 12th dimension and beyond.
Oh, good God.
Which is how they were able to actually make this all happen. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So when they turned the system on August 1st and left it on for 24 hours after that, they entered this thing that they called the torus of time. And I'm not going to go into the craziness of it, but after 5 days of this thing running continuously for 24 hours, they were able to go beyond the 12th dimension. And that's what they needed to do in order to get this all to work.
Yeah.
In 1943 and 63, when they were doing these calculations, they realized in 1963 they were going to run into a problem with time and the way that time worked and bounced back and forth. It's kind of like electronics. When you don't resist things properly or end things properly, you get these weird behaviors with electricity. Well, they knew the same thing was going to happen with time. And in 1963, on August 12th of 1963, they were going to have this big problem. By the way, they were calculating things out. Yeah. So in 1983, once they got up toward the 12th dimension, they had to send equipment back to 1943 so that they could get the equipment to work. So that it could generate these things properly, so that in 1963 we wouldn't have this weird issue. Yeah. Which is why 1963 nothing happened. It was in 40 or
it was in 83.
Yeah, 43 and 83.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. So they were doing this time travel, and this Al guy was part of that, which is why he met that dude. Yeah. That had already
died. That had already happened.
Again, mind exploding.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That had died in like 1957.
Yes. Uh-huh. So I will put in the notes what he wrote about when you don't like terminate RF signals and like how it works in our real reality and how that equates to time, because he was saying that if they didn't fix it, they would literally blow a hole in the earth. Like the crust of the earth, like the crust of the Rocky Mountains would be wiped off the face of the earth, like 700 feet deep.
Yeah.
Like it would have been like catastrophe.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who sabotaged it?
Well, again, that's a whole nother.
But there was a sabotage in 1960.
No, in 1980, August 12th, 1983 was when it was blown up.
Oh, okay. When it was officially blown
Yes.
up. Okay.
And so when they got the experiment to work,
Yeah.
it was right after that. And so that's the whole nother story is like, who did it? Why did they do it? Is it because they've got a whole nother, they needed that to happen in order to make another thing happen? And so now they needed to destroy it?
All I can
that's like,
say,
it could go forever.
if you're asking me, it happened for a reason. So what, did people like die?
Yes, there were some people that died on that, which is why they say they closed the base.
Wow.
So this technology, I'm skipping a lot of shit, but this technology they say is on the B-1 and B-2 bomber, which is why it's so stealthy.
Really?
So they say.
Yeah.
Who can say for sure?
Yeah,
It's top
totally.
secret shit, right?
And it's probably not on every single one. It's only on specific ones, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, according to our owl friend, there is a new Phoenix in a different location that is working. The ET's got what they want. Everyone's kind of got what they want. And as I mentioned before, people were saying like, why did they need us? And it's again, because they've got this rift in space now where they can travel. There's time travel available. And now we have access to both. They have access to our hardware and our warm bodies.
So what the fuck did we get in return?
Right. Well, so this is what isn't ever very clear. And so the question, so you go, is it clear because they don't want us to know?
Yeah.
Like, does the government not want us to know what we get out of the deal? But initially, the idea was we could time travel. Like, that's what they wanted to create. That's why they say we wanted to create this, was because now we can make things invisible.
Yeah.
And we could time travel. Mm-hmm. And in war, what could be more valuable than being invisible?
Oh, for
or traveling
sure,
forward
for
and backward
sure.
in time?
It's just like, I guess I've heard about this from the past, like Eisenhower made a deal
Yeah.
with aliens that they could like do experiments on our people.
You've heard this before.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. In exchange for technology. And so like basically Eisenhower like sold the American people out.
Yeah.
It. And so like you hear about all these people who have like, and he's like, yeah, you can do these things, but like make sure that they don't remember. And you have people who have had like alien abduction stories. And they're like, I didn't realize this until I had like, I was hypnotized and I like had these like awful memories.
Yeah.
And it wasn't totally forgotten. But that's
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've got probably another 7 pages of stuff
To talk
that
about on this
talks
one.
about how they've calculated time, how they figured out how to do the equipment. Like there is so much information.
What do you I guess like my question is like, what do you think happened? Do you think that like the American people were sold out for technology? Are we
No, I do. I think the human race was kind of sold out. Like for the amount of power, and I don't mean power like in woo-ha-ha, but I mean like control and that you could get out of sacrificing a few warm bodies. Yeah, I totally think that was an acceptable thing. And it could have been that some things got so out of control, or maybe that the K people or the Orions, which I didn't even talk about the Orions, by the way.
Right.
Were doing that. Maybe the presidents, and then we're going like, wait, maybe we got ourselves in too deep. I mean, that could have also been a thing too.
Yeah, we were trying.
Who knows?
The problem is like we were trying to win a war, and you had people who are making decisions.
Yes,
based out of desperation.
Very reactive.
Yes, reactive because they're desperate. Like they needed to win.
Yes.
How can we win this?
Yes.
And then you have someone who comes in as like a white knight, and in reality, it's very much not the case. Like they're trying to take advantage of someone.
Yep.
And that 100% does not surprise me. at all.
So part of me was going to put this into 2 episodes, and I probably should have.
I think we could probably do another episode of this.
But I apologize we're so long, but it's. I will just say I will make sure that I put links into our document that actually so you can watch Al talk about this, and he did a press that Montauk interview. You can watch him, and he's so convincing. He's not reading anything. He is talking off the cuff.
Maybe we do a follow-up for this, like in the new year. Perhaps we talk about that because one of the first episodes for the new year that we're going to be talking about is like the things that were disclosed in 2023. And I think that it would be a good segue.
There you go. Okay.
Because I think that there's more to discuss here. There's so many questions.
So many,
that we don't have, like we're never going to have the answers to, but I think like potentially like having like more of an understanding of would be super useful. And I promise like we will have some like really fun, like light topics too.
I know this was super deep. And
yeah. I think this one, and I think the last one was too. Like I think both of them were a little bit heavier, but like, look, that's these are like where the bizarre places are. Like we don't know the answers. And like these black budgets are like they're huge. We have no idea how much money is going towards them.
That's right.
And these black budgets,
that's right. Like on your previous episode, you said like a third of our budget.
Yes.
But when we start talking about this kind of stuff
these are just
we don't
like
even
2
know
projects,
about,
right?
There's no fucking way.
Yeah. You have to pay people well enough to keep secrets.
Yes. Yep.
And you have to pay them well.
Yeah,
and it's not just like 2 players.
Yep.
It's multiple players.
It's lots.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, do we all have bills to pay? Yes. All of us have bills to pay. We all have a price. Like, would we? Yeah, every single one of us. But there's a price that you have to pay for it.
Yep.
And those black budgets, we don't really know how much is involved. But this
or
was
what's
like,
involved.
Yeah, and what's involved. Like, I feel like after both of these episodes, like like the episode we did before and then this episode, like I feel like I have more questions than I have answers.
I know.
Yeah.
I would agree because they get real. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like not deep, but just in the weeds.
Yeah.
Things that people just don't talk about every day.
Well, you talk about like Bob Lazar, Element 115, J-Rod. Like you talk about all these like folks and they're like, no, we've been talking about this since the 1980s and nobody believed us.
True.
Now we found Element 115. We found and now
J-Rod, the government's releasing documents
information
about UAPs.
Yeah. They're admitting that aliens are a real thing.
Yes.
And nobody's paying attention.
No, that's a whole nother thing that sends me over the edge.
Friends, this episode we are releasing in 2 days before Christmas. The next episode we will be releasing has to do with disclosure in 2023 and what's happened before. So please tune into that and let us know like what your thoughts are, because there's a lot that has been disclosed that people are not paying attention to. And I think it's our responsibility to know what the fuck is going on and to kind of put it out there.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agreed. Whether they listen to this or not.
Who cares? It's like we're doing our duty.
Exactly.
Like as a part of humanity, because anyone who's listening to this right now, by and large, hopefully, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about like non-humans listening to it.
Yeah.
Jeez, like I'm getting like, oh, you want aliens to listen to it?
Yes.
Like, no, don't know I'm alive. like I am nothing. I'm a speck of dust. I'm nothing to you.
Exactly.
Don't know about me. Like I don't have organs you can fucking harvest. But like also I think that it's really important for us to know what's going on, not only within our world, but also potentially with outside of it.
Yes.
And not to just turn a blind eye. Anyway.
Yes.
That was a great episode.
Thanks. I know. Sorry it was super deep and long.
I think that we could like do a part 2 on that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My eyes are glazing myself. So, So everyone go to have a cocktail, take a breath, and listen to our next episode, which will be way
easier.
Lighter.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.